episode 291 of the Calcio Guys and last of 2025. Adriano, Gianni, I'm Nicholas. You could follow us on all your favorite podcasting platforms and social media: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, you name it. Guys, last one of the year. How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. It's crazy to already say that it's the last episode of 2025. I feel like it's been a hell of a ride, but it's hopefully we'll go out with a bang and start 2026 off with another bang. So happy to be back like always.
Sorry, I was trying to hold in a cough. I've just died here. What's your resolution for 2026? Don't die, I guess.
I guess so. We need you.
I'm doing well, boys. I'm doing okay. I can't wait. Tomorrow's the last day of the school week, and then I can be off for 2 weeks and sleep, and not have to hear any questions from any students for the next little while. So that's gonna be fun.
There we go.
Well, I'll ask you plenty of questions here, Gianni.
No, I can never escape.
Gianni, define experimentation.
Oh no!
Oh god, that's a throwback.
Yo, if you know,
It's
you
an
know.
actual word. It's a word. And experimentation is when you try to experiment with something, and it's the process of experimenting with something. It's an experimentation.
There we go.
With work, I was at a meeting last week, and someone said that, and not that I had to hold in laughter or anything, but that's where my mind went right away, like back to 2018 or 2019.
Instant flashback.
Yeah,
it's like PTSD,
big time.
Exactly. Guys, we had pseudo Derby del Calcio guys today in the Supercoppa Italiana in what was it, Saudi Arabia? The most Italian thing ever. Like, I mean, I know they've been doing this for a few years now, but it's frustrating nonetheless to see this, same story play out every year. Where obviously they're chasing the money, right, guys, in Saudi Arabia. Whatever, it's fine, but it's gotten to the point where they add these extra games. You play the semifinals, and you have to play the finals. It's like at a certain point, why can't they just incorporate these games as part of like the SerieA schedule? Okay, let's say Napoli, Roma, they play today, part of the Supercoppa, but this game also counts for SerieA. It counts for 3 points. Maybe it's a bit too complicated logistically to figure things out, but more games. We talk about it all the time. It's like what. Next time they revise the format, it's going to be 8 teams in the Supercoppa. It's going to do the quarterfinals, and then there's going to be round of 16. Then just going to be another Coppa Italia. Maybe I'm going a bit too much there, but I don't know what your guys' thoughts about having to see your teams travel in the middle of the season and play 2 extra games.
Yeah, I'll kick it off and then I'll send it to Johnny. But I find it puts a bit of a, I don't want to say a damper on things, but it's a bit of it's annoying, if I'm honest. Like the travel, it's not like you're going around the corner. You're going, to another part of the world. And listen, I know there's money to be made, and there's for SerieA standards, that 11 million extra for the winner. I mean, it does mean something, I guess, but not a huge fan of it, to be honest with you. I know SerieA, even though they're still in the Stone Age, tries to broaden their horizons and touch other markets. It's the Supercoppa Italiana, and like Nick said, we're playing in Saudi Arabia. So it is what it is. I'm not a big fan, especially in a season where, listen, these teams that are going out there are competing for top 4 Scudetto and all those types of implications. And you put a halt in the middle of your season, and yes, there's a bit of a break now because Milan's out, and they'll only play I think in 10 days time. So I guess that's the one bonus, but it's unnecessary travel, in my opinion. This is going to bleed into, for me, even for the Australia match, for the Milan Como match that apparently is going to, they're saying it's all systems go for that. So which again, I'm not a fan of. I know we want to, like I said, broaden our horizons, in Serie A, but I think there's other ways to do it, to touch these other markets. And playing games there that count for something, I think I don't know if it's the answer. In my personal opinion, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm not seeing something, but for me, it's if there's one thing we want to keep in Italy, I think are the matches. You want to have fan experience and other certain things like that taking up a place abroad. Absolutely. We've been to countless of those ICC, those international friendly matches in the summertime. We've been to plenty of them and had a great experience. If you want to make it like that, sure. But Supercoppa, Serie A matches, who knows? Maybe the Coppa Italia one day. Where does it end? So for me, I'm not a big fan. That doesn't put away the fact that you're obviously going to watch your team play. That's a no brainer. But I don't know, Johnny. I think you guys were maybe better rested than us. It seemed like we were really crippled today. But what did you think of maybe the unnecessary travel? Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that if you're going to do a top four thing for the Supercoppa, you should make it something like the winner of Serie A, the winner of the Coppa Italia. You could put probably the runner up or last year's Supercoppa winner, and then you should probably put the winner of Serie B. I think that's something that could be do if you want to do a top four thing. If you want to do a Supercoppa to reward the team for winning Serie B, give them some kind of motivation to really try hard and push for this trophy, and give them a little bit of a confidence boost before playing in Serie A, or like while you're in Serie A, some kind of while you're here, here's the trophy that you guys can try out for. It is for the money though, and I honestly for a league that's desperate for money to make as much money as we can. I don't like it. I really don't like it, but I can't fault them. You know what I mean? Especially for how strapped for cash we are, I can't fault them. So it's I don't like it, but if other leagues are getting these the Saudi money to help finance their goals, why can't we? But the one saving grace from this is that it's not being influxed as if they bought a team and then they're just trying to make a super team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a trophy that SerieA is playing over a border to a different country, and they are soccer fans there, so they get an opportunity to see teams they don't normally see. So, and if SerieA gets a bit of money for it, I don't see what's the harm in that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, for I was seeing the reports. I had seen it was about 11 million for the winner, 11 million euros for the winner. And listen, it's obviously not a huge stack of money. It's not chump change either. But for a 2-game span to potentially earn that money for your club, and who knows if Johnny's idea of maybe including a Serie B team to that Supercoppa competition and trophy, that 11 million can go a long way. So listen, I don't know, but I think with with how the Saudi league has continued to evolve, and you're bringing in the stars and the Ronaldos of the world and stuff like that. Obviously there's a bit more buzz and there's a bit more fandom. Not that there wasn't before. I think now it's just more elevated. But again, I'm gonna stick to my guns and say, if there's one thing to keep in the country of Italy, I think is the competitions. That means something, right? I know people like to brush aside the Supercoppa and some of these more quote unquote meaningless trophies, but at the end of the day, it counts for something. And I personally would keep that within the Italian peninsula.
Today Milan against Napoli in the Supercoppa. 2-0 win for Napoli. Goals from Neres and Hoyland, so they go to the final. Napoli, as obviously as the Serie A champs, deservedly so. Play the winner of Bologna Inter, so maybe deep down we're hoping for a Bologna win, so we could see the Serie A champs versus the Coppa Italia champs in the final, which is, I believe, on Monday. The final. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch the game. Being that we got a Napoli fan here, we got a Milan fan. If you guys could give your opinions.
I caught the probably more at the end of the game. Again, like we always say, us across the pond this side, we work during the week, so it's not always easy to tune into every match. But I caught a bit. I saw kind of what was going on. For the Milan perspective, there really wasn't much to really hold on to, unfortunately. The 2-0 result, I think. I guess kudos to Napoli. Even though I know they were the better team on the pitch, but I think personally it was more, Milan not doing enough and allowing Napoli to play their game and ultimately capitalize. Like I don't think Napoli was so much more superior than Milan in the match. I know obviously the result says 2-0, and you see that and you're like, oh well, I guess Napoli just dog walked Milan, but I think with a crippled team that Milan has currently, especially in the forward position, it was almost expected. Like was hearing a lot of Milanisti say, and I guess myself included, the expectation wasn't the highest. We don't have an out and out striker on the pitch. You need to score goals to win games, and unfortunately, we weren't able to put any past. And listen, I think the goals that were scored by Napoli, the first one was honestly terrible, if you ask me. I know Magnan, I would say 9 times out of 10, or 9.5 times out of 10 saves Milan and makes those timely saves and really, keeps us in games. Obviously a bit of a mistake there to try to parry it out, to kind of parry it towards Neres. But I think the bigger blame for me personally, if I had to put a blame, is Corny De Winter. I mean, he had a terrible game, from top to bottom. It shows that he's not, in my opinion, of Milan caliber. It's a shame because I thought he would have brought in something. Having that Serie A experience and kind of knowing the league and knowing how the gameplay flows and stuff like that. But when he gets limited minutes and he gets kind of just tossed into the fire, it's when you play for Milan, that you have to take that and run with it. And he's done nothing of the sort. So I think on the first goal, you allow Hoyland to cross that in, cross the face of goal, and Neres he's been a man on form, right? And he's been doing well, so it's obvious that he's gonna be able to tap that in. And again, Hoyland was having his way with the Winter on the second one too, and fired a shot and cross Magnan's face and was able to score again. So, but again, I'm still gonna stick to yes, Napoli was the better team, but I don't think they were super superior and really dominating in terms of like shots and all that. I think Milan obviously struggled defensively, and when you don't have much forwards to choose from, and you're stuck with basically wingers or attacking midfielders to kind of lead your front line, it's hard to score goals, and that focal point that we don't have up top. And not to make excuses, because I know Pulisic has been on form, but we're hoping and praying that Pulisic is going to pull another monkey out of his rabbit out of his hat, sorry, and do some magic. And unfortunately, today wasn't the day. Again, kudos to Napoli for advancing. And yeah, I think I don't know, like it was one of these games where I don't know if it was the travel, I don't know if it was the competition, but listen, Allegri, I don't know if he's kind of made it clear by bouncing out every competition and only sticking to Serie A. I don't know if that was his game plan, or just the squad that we have is not able to compete on multiple competitions. But I hope to God that this plan works and we focus on Serie A and we do some damage there. But it's a shame because last year, I know it was a bad year for Milan, but maybe the one quote unquote saving grace was not saving grace, but kind of the small positive of last season was obviously that Supercoppa trophy that they won last season. So it was a shame not to touch some sort of silverware again this year. Hopefully it'll be in May with the Scudetto, but yeah, it's a shame. And like I said, kudos to Napoli.
I think that's a very fair assessment. I wouldn't like I had to work today too, so unfortunately I got home too late for the game. But looking at highlights, looking at stats, looking at some analysis and whatnot, I think it's pretty fair to say that it wasn't as if Napoli was a dominant side for this game. They just
I think they
capitalized on
were,
the
but
trend.
like it wasn't like dominating in the fact where it's like they were suffocating Milan and like they were like not allowing them to
Yeah,
do anything. It was like a back and forth game of nothingness, I found. And then you score those two goals, and once that first one went in, and then the second one happened as well, it was like it just sucked out any life that Milan potentially had out of them, and it was pretty much game over after that second one. So that's how I kind of saw it, but I don't know.
I also think it's like, Milan didn't really have quality chances either. Like it
No,
just
no,
and,
except for the
and
one. I think there was one, the Loftus Cheek. There was a Loftus Cheek. I kind of tuned in as that chance had happened. I had seen it kind of on the replay. It was a chance that Loftus Cheek had in front of goal, and Vania makes a timely save. And but besides that, like crosses going in, headers going wide, shots going into the stands. It was a bit of, I don't know. It was just there was chances, but nothing super threatening and dangerous. So I think Napoli's defense obviously stood a bit more tall, but again, there wasn't really much that Milan was threatening them with. So I find it was more side to side passes and trying to break through. And when we got caught on the counter or what have you, it was pretty much game over.
And I think that's probably very, very, very fair to say because, Milan had most of the possession. It wasn't as if like Napoli,
Yeah.
dominated in terms of holding that ball. It was just,
Yeah.
it was Milan getting, 14 shots, 11 on target, but not even. Hold on, what was it? 3 on target. It was 14 shots, 3 on target. Like it was,
Yeah.
It was the inverse. I meant to say, but either way, it's just one of those games where just ball bounced more towards Napoli's direction. I think that's probably the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Would it likely not focus on Serie A? Obviously, because there's really not much. But
well, that's it now. It's now there's no excuses. Every Milan fan's looking at it now, and it's like, well, listen, Max, there's no more excuses.
Repeat 2011, please. We want that second star on our jerseys.
Hopefully.
Yeah, tomorrow Inter Bologna. Do you guys have any quick thoughts about that before we move on to the Serie?
Johnny, I'll let you go first on this one.
I actually,
or
I
Nick, I'll let you go.
I do want to say something. I feel like for Bologna, it's there's a lot more importance than for Inter. I don't know, where like what the starting lineups are going to be, right? But I feel like for Bologna, yes, they already won the Coppa Italia last year, but this is a chance at a different trophy. This is a chance at another trophy versus Inter. I don't know if they've recently won. I forget if they won it last year, the Supercoppa, but they have bigger things on their mind, right?
No, Milan won it last year.
Milan won it last year.
Yeah.
I'd have to look up when was the last time Inter won it. So I do think there's
the year before, the back-to-back years, I think before Milan, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then it was Juve before that. I seen a post about it earlier.
Yeah, I saw it today. Juve won last time 2021.
And then I think Inter won the next two, and then Milan won last season, if I'm not mistaken.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Inter actually won 3 in a row.
Oh, is it 3?
2021, 2022, 2023.
Sorry, there you go.
Yeah. So there you go. I think for Bologna, there's gonna be a lot more importance. So I think they're gonna come out hard. I mean, we'll have to see the starting lineups.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think honestly, Bologna is probably gonna be hungry for it. They're gonna. I don't think Inter is gonna, like, obviously they're gonna be competitive about it, but I don't think Inter is gonna take it seriously as Bologna will. Also going in as the underdogs. It's like Bologna is like obviously like even though that we know that they're not underdogs, it's like they're going in as underdogs nonetheless.
Sure.
So they don't have like expectations to maintain. Inter does.
Yeah.
And even at that, like the fans are like, okay, if we lose, who cares? We could just say it's the Supercoppa, and if they win, they're going to celebrate. So it's whereas Bologna, it's like they want to have that storyline of beating Inter in the Supercoppa and then trying to fight for it. Not only do you win the Coppa Italia, now you try to win the Supercoppa, and they have like a goal to strive for. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. I think and that's like similar to last season, right? With the Coppa Italia win, right? It was maybe to some unexpected. They went out and won it, and chapeau to them. They beat Milan last season, and they were the better team on the day. And I think again, it's another opportunity for a manager like Vincenzo Italiano to get his hands on silverware. the last season's Coppa Italia was one thing, and I know the Supercoppa is a lesser of that, but he's proven that he's able to be a manager that is able to adapt and get to be able to be competitive on multiple fronts and different competitions and get to finals. And unfortunately he's been on the losing end of quite a few of them, but this is another opportunity to get into a final and maybe have a chance of getting another trophy under your belt. So I think for Bologna's sake, it's even for Italiano's sake, it's I think a pretty big game. I guess you can say I put big game in quotations there, but with Inter's recent up and down, and they look good, but then they look shaky. It's let's see what Inter comes out to play tomorrow. It's either I feel like it's either going to go two ways. It's either going to be that there's no in between. I think they're either going to wipe the floor with Bologna, or they're just going to not show up and lay an egg like Johnny said. So we'll see what Kivu puts out there as well, because I'm curious to see that, because again, there's big games coming up in the Serie A calendar and obviously in Europe for a team like Inter. So we'll see, but I think for Bologna's sake, and especially for Italiano's sake, it's a game where I think they want a result and they want to get to that final on Monday and maybe get their hands on some more silverware.
You heard it here first, guys. It's going to go one of two ways. Either Inter's going to win or Bologna is going to win. Thank you, Adriano.
Well,
I'm just
I put some more angle and juice on that, but yes, essentially that, I guess.
Bologna is coming off the 1-0 loss to Juve in the Serie A. A game that Juve scored first and didn't tie. So, I mean, progress, right? I mean, I think it was a tough game, obviously, for Juve. I am very happy with the win, and I think there was some coaching changes. Obviously, Cabal coming on and scoring. He didn't come on to score, but he did come on and score, and I think Spalletti did a good job managing the game. It was frustrating, the David goal ruled offside, just offside by not much from McKennie. It's frustrating as a striker when there's a goal ruled offside and it's not even him, the one that's offside, right? But I do think this is the big game that Juve needed to win. I know there was some comments online. I know Peter from IFTV was talking about how he thinks Juve's back in the Scudetto race. For me personally, I think they're too far off. They've lost or dropped points in too many big games to be back in that conversation. I think it's like 7 points off of Inter. I know there's a lot of soccer left, but it gives Juve the chance to fight for the top four, which is the goal that they've pretty much set for the season, right? And now with the game against Roma coming up on the weekend, that's the other opportunity. We talked about before the Bologna game how big of a game that was. This is the other big game, and they just need to continue proving that they deserve the win. And how many times have I said it? It's like, okay, this is a good game, but they need to do it again next week. So Juve, they are in a good spell right now, especially between the wins in the Champions League. Now this win, combined with the win in Coppa Italia as well. So I think Juve just has to finish the year strong. I forget. I think they play Roma. No, they play Roma obviously this weekend. I forget who they play before the end of the year. It's Pisa on December 27th. So these are two games. Juve wants to walk away with 6 points. In terms of offense, obviously we see Vlahovic is out. It does have an impact. I think David has been playing better. He obviously scored twice in the Champions League now. He had that goal ruled out for offside. But it is good to see, the offensive contributions from a defender. But I think, for Juve, let's say this game against Roma, they need goals from their strikers, whether that's going to be Openda who starts or David who starts. It needs to come from the front. You can't be relying on center backs and wing backs to score offset pieces to win these games. Regardless, great effort. I don't think Bologna had many chances that were like, Bologna absolutely deserved to win this game or tie this game. I think Juve played sound defensively. They did dominate possession, 55-45. The shots were 13-9 in favor of Juve, so kind of goes with that. Good, but got to continue. for Juve. I don't know.
I just wanted to add to that. We've been saying it right the past couple of weeks. I think since the Napoli match, right, Nick? I think it was this three stretch games of that have been coming up. The Napoli one, the one against Bologna, and now the one against Roma. These are going to be the crucial ones. I didn't realize they had another game against Pisa, but again, that needs to be needed to be all wins. Unfortunately, the Napoli one went the way it went, but.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
No, for him. For me, I'm ecstatic, but for the Juventini of the world, there, I don't know. Like they want the maximum points every match, but just to even echo to what you said about Peter from FTV's point, I think Juve is going to stick around. Like I don't know if the Scudetto is in reach or out of reach, whatever, but I think they'll stick around in the conversation because. Like I kind of said to Nick before we kind of kicked off here, it's crowded at the top, right? That's kind of been, the kind of the analysis of how after 15 match days in Serie A, how the league has been going. I think from there's only 3 points that separate first and third or first and fourth or whatever it is. So
I'll let you know right now. It is 3 points to separate first from fourth.
First from fourth. There you go. So listen, it's really anybody's for the taking. I think Juve is still in the mix. I remember from before the season started, I had them probably finishing fourth, if I'm not mistaken. So I think they'll stick around. I think the little bit of stability with Spalletti. I think it took some time, but slowly, I think he's kind of building some sort of stability. Even if you like him as a manager or don't like him as a manager, there's some stability there, and it seems like the players are kind of buying into what he's implementing. So, listen, another win, 3 points, clean sheet. I mean, I don't know. Juventini can't really ask for too much more. At the end of the day, the 3 points is all that matters. So, it's a shame because I think Bologna didn't play their best match. And it's a team that has given everybody, fits these past couple of years. So I think Bologna will be, bounce back, but Juve got the job done, and that's pretty much all they needed to do.
Gianni, thoughts on Roma Juve this weekend?
I hope Roma wins. Well, I mean, like it is a match.
Well, Roma might need their strikers to score too, because they can't just depend on Wesley, the wing back, either. Right? So it's a battle of strikers and forwards to score. Hopefully,
you're not wrong. And especially with being one of the weaker sides offensively in Serie A, like only 16 goals for when you look at the rest of the competition. That's not good. It's like that's just slightly above a goal a game. You can't expect to do anything in the long run if that's what you're getting in your offensive production. So
the plus for Roma is that they're not conceding as many, though.
Exactly, because Villar is playing above and beyond expectations. So it's going to suck when he gets bought out by Real Madrid this upcoming summer.
Oh God.
Or Liverpool, because that's what the history is like. Apparently, Liverpool just likes buying Roma players. But in all seriousness, we need to have like a Gasperini masterclass in this matchup, because this game is pretty much like either you extend your lead on Juve by 7 points, or Juve is just now 1 point punching distance from you, depending on the result here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So it's a very, very important game. As I like to call them, it's a 6 point game. It's a 6 point game because you got somebody right behind you that's trying to tail you. So you can either give yourself a nice, big, comfortable space, or you just lost all of that. So I obviously hope Roma wins the 6 point game. But seeing how Juve last game seemed to have found some kind of rhythm, some kind of, I guess momentum, their stride. It's worrisome. It's worrisome. Because at the end of the day, it's Juventus. We all know that they have some kind of threat on paper at some point. Roma does too, but it's more like Roma has been very heavily dependent on the back end to save them from day in and day out. And it's like, how much longer can you sustain that? I know it's not hockey where the game's fast enough where it's like you can't sustain it forever. Soccer, because it's a slower paced game, you could argue that you can have some sustainability
Especially
from it,
in
and you
Serie
can,
A.
especially in Serie A. But the bill comes due at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The bill comes due at some point, and I'm just hoping that the waiter doesn't show up with the bill during the Juve Roma game.
And you can't pay.
You pay, in the words of Chiellini.
Wasn't there a whole story a while ago about Conte? I forget exactly, something about
You
going
can't
to a
pay.
dinner and
You can't. Yeah, you can't go to what was it? Oh my God! You can't pay
you
a
can go to a
$100
€100 restaurant with
a
10
€100
euros.
meal with €10. Yeah, exactly. The typical Conte presser, mind games, all that stuff.
Or the Spalletti storytelling.
Yeah. Maybe Spalletti will hit the presser with one of his lullabies there, one of those soliloquies as he always likes to do,
Soliloquies, yeah.
But just quickly, Johnny, I wanted to get your quick thoughts on the potential. I saw the rumors there, but it looks like it might happen of Dybala probably leaving on a free. I know he's been in and out of the lineup. You know, he's been devoted and he's really given himself for Roma. But if he ends up leaving this summer, is it good riddance, or is it a sorry farewell?
It's gonna be a sorry, like a good for good, like a farewell type of thing, because I don't think he did anything malicious here. It's just the guy was plagued with injuries, and I mean, if Roma wants to, like, if I was Roma, I would try my best to just keep him around, because it's Dybala, and if you can get him if you can keep him to sign cheaper or whatever, like I think he enjoys staying in Italy. That's the thing. Like I could see him maybe going to Spain probably.
Or I
But
think they're saying
besides that,
probably back to Argentina, maybe
yeah, I
Boca.
mean, hey, if he wants to go home and that might be better for him in the long run,
Yeah.
like I wouldn't blame him.
Maybe Saputo's going to give him good money for CF Montreal.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we will ring
He has to
Rocco.
play for
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Rocco.
Supra.
FC Supra.
Maybe he'll be better fit over there.
But like I have no ill wishes towards Dybala. If the guy wants to leave, the guy wants to leave. He came here on a free. He tried, and when he did play, he did play his best. It wasn't as if like he had a game where I was like, "What the fuck is Dybala doing?" It was just more like, "Get injured again." You know what I mean?
Yeah, typical.
The only thing that just worries me is that with Dybala leaving, I don't know if Sule is going to stick around afterwards either now, or if Sule is going to look for a way to look on his way out, because I don't know. I feel like
well, the opportunity is there for him to really take this team and put him on his back, if you ask me. But it's if he's willing to do that is a different story.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is he willing to do that?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so it's tough, because I wanted it to be better for him. I wanted him to have a better experience at Roma, but can't really blame the guy for always being injured and stuff. It's just life. It's just the way it is. It would have been cool though, because especially like when we had the Lukaku Dybala connection, like them healthy together at the same time would have been pretty scary. But then during that time you have lack of a really strong manager to help them out, and then when they finally get a manager like Gasperini, Dybala's like, all right, well, I'm out the door now, and it's like, okay, great, like now we actually are getting some kind of stability, and we're losing in terms of talent.
Yeah, just pure talent.
Talent. We're losing our most talented player, but we got him for free, and he's leaving for free. So I can't, you know what I mean? Like it's like I can't really complain, because you didn't spend money to get this guy. You didn't buy him off Juventus. Let's say he came to you on a free, and at least he's leaving on a free. So, and he's making his intentions known. It's like as if he's going to come out of nowhere, be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, ciao, bye." It's like, you know what I mean? He's like, "No."
Yeah, I think it's a mutual thing. They're not going to re-sign him.
I don't think I don't think there's any ill wishes from either side.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any ill wishes from either side. I think it's mutual. Like, you know what? This is, if you think this is best for your career, we respect it. We want you to stay, but obviously, you can't force them. So I think that's what it is.
Fair enough.
Guys, one team I know we all want to talk about right now, Fiorentina. 0 wins. 0 wins on the season in the Serie A. They lost to Verona 2-1 this weekend at home. 2 goals from Gift Orban. So a nice gift for the Fiorentina fans right before Christmas. Bottom of the league right now. Let me just pull up the table. Bottom of the league, 8 points from safety. I know these points are more or less easy to make up. They're a lot, if you're comparing, let's say, 8 points from safety versus 8 points from a Scudetto, it's a lot easier to make up 8 points from safety. But guys, it's troublesome. You don't want to see Fiorentina in Serie B. This is a team that's literally playing in Europe right now, and they're kind of doing well. I know they lost today, but they were kind of doing well in the Conference League. Obviously Vanoli came in about a month ago, more than a month ago now, November 7th. Still, like I said, they still haven't gotten that win. I think it's 6 losses and 9 draws, 9 losses, 6 draws for Fiorentina. Personally, I do see, a scenario in which they save themselves and they remain in SerieA next year with this nice 17th place finish. 40, I want to say 40 points because that would require a lot of wins, maybe like 38, 37 from here on out. But considering there are 23 games left, they're going to have to start winning a lot of games. I know there's no magic solution, but Adrian, what do you think they have to do besides maybe fire Vanoli and, go get a random coach? Because that's obviously not the solution. We know that's not the solution.
No, it's not.
Obviously Davide Nicole is not available, so maybe if he becomes available, you go out and get him. But you also have to wonder, it's also mentally within the players within the locker room.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like I was even seeing in where I forget where I saw it from first, but there was many people that posted it about it. But last season this time, Fiorentina's tied for first place. Fast forward to this season, and they're in dead last with 0 wins after 15 match days in the Serie A. Like, that's just unheard of. It's like the worst start to a season that they've ever had in their history. And this is one of, the Sette Sorelle, right? So this is the 7 sisters of Serie A. Fiorentina is a historic club, obviously in a historic city, and it's an important piazza. It's obviously maybe not the big 3, but it's still a big piazza to play for. So listen, I don't know. I don't think there is one solution. I think there's a multitude of things that are wrong. I think from top to bottom, it's unfortunate that, even though, I guess I'll always be grateful for what Pioli did for Milan for winning that Scudetto. It's a shame that they let him go for so long and kind of dig this grave for them, and now they're trying to escape from it and they can't. They bring in Vanoli, who I think had some good signs when he was with Torino, right? He was with Torino at one point and doing some good things there. And again, what do you want Vanoli to do? This team has no wins. The game over the weekend against Verona, a goal at the pretty much at the death that looked like it was out of bounds. He cuts it back, cross a goal, beats De Gea. There's no luck. Like, the stars aren't aligned for this Fiorentina team. It's a bit crazy if you ask me. So I don't think just by sacking managers is going to do it. Personally, I do think it starts a bit upstairs as well. It's the players, right? You see, Dzeko going to the Curva and saying, listen, back us. We need your support. We will do better. We will continue to fight. And I think they have been fighting. I think they've just been a bit unlucky in certain situations. And it's weird because, in Europe, they've been doing decently well. I know, like you said, Nick, they lost today, the 1-0 against, I think it was Lausanne, but they've looked like a different team in Europe. And I don't know, it's one of these things that I think this is, maybe last season was a flash in the pan, or maybe, I don't know, or maybe this season's a flash in the pan, like who knows? But there's a reason, I think, why a manager like Palladino left this Fiorentina team, right? Like, I think under him, if he would have stayed the course and continued with this team, I think they could have done, good things. Fast forward to where he is now. He's at Atalanta now, and he's had a pretty good start. So I think the flip flopping of managers, and I think there's still quite a bit of the Pioli imprint on this team, and kind of maybe his players and his system, and Vano is just trying to pick up the pieces and work with what he has, and go from there. And again, I personally don't think the squad or the roster is terrible, because a lot of these players are from last season. You had a couple additions here and there and maybe some subtractions, but it's not like it was a total overhaul from last season to this season. So you kind of, beg the question and kind of think it's like, well, what is it? So I think it is mentally, from top to bottom. And again, like I said, there's not one thing to blame. I think it's a multitude of things. But they're gonna have to shape up fast, because there is a serious possibility that they go down to Serie B. And we've said this on the show before for other teams that we kind of were talking about potential, going down to Serie B, and maybe us not wanting that to happen. And, if you want to play devil's advocate, that quote unquote blessing in disguise, like we've said in the past, right? For, the teams like, Genoa or Sampdoria or, Sassuolo, right? Of more recent times. You don't want these teams to go down just because of the history of, being in Serie A, and just, it's when you think of Serie A, these teams are there, right? And Fiorentina is always there, right? So maybe it might be a blessing in disguise if they do go down. But time is running out. I know there's still a lot of culture to be played. Like you said, Nick, was it 23 matches left? But in 15 match days, you have no wins. Like, and it's like, even the game against Verona, it's like they were like, not even that they were going to win, they were going to tie again. Like it was like another like rinse repeat, like week in and week out. And I feel like the more this happens, it's like a snowball effect. Like the more this continues to happen, it fucks up with your psyche. And these players are like, well, we need to win. And now it's like, okay, well, we don't win here. And now it's like a snowball effect of like, oh my God, like if we don't win here, then we're going to continuously go down. And it's a mess. So I think, again, I don't know. They need to go on like maybe a serious retiro. I had heard they are already on some sort of retiro. They're not really talking to the media either. The Silencio Stampa deal, but I don't know. Something has to give. I think they need to really look within and fight even harder than they are, because it's impossible to me to say that, like I said earlier, a team that was tied in first place last season is now in last place with 0 wins, and you had your a capocannoniere player in Moise Keane, who has, I don't know, like what, 1 goal in Serie A. I don't even think he has scored in Serie A. Like it's been very bleak from him too. So, and these are some players of quality that they have on the field. So, um, listen, if they end up parting ways with Vanoli, I don't see how that will work in their favor. They're going to have to write some sort of course. They rode it too long with Pioli. Again, I don't know. Upstairs, Comiso, I don't know, has to pull some sort of strings. Their sporting director too in the wintertime. I know they got rid of, I think Prade was there. I don't think he's there anymore, and he kind of lost the plot a bit there too. So I don't know. They need to do something fast, because this is too much of an important team and an important piazza to see go down in Serie B. But we'll see what happens. And again, it's who they play this week. I didn't see on the ticker there.
Udinese.
Udinese, and that's been a tricky team for a lot of teams this season as well. So it might not get any easier. They're going to need some sort of luck that they haven't had all up until this point. So I honestly, I don't know what it is. Maybe some reinforcements in the winter time too, but that comes at a premium. And I don't know if they're in a spot to really spend more money, or kind of go in different directions. So they might have to stay the course with what they have and play with that. But if it doesn't change fast, honestly, a few weeks, like maybe like 4 or 5 weeks ago, I would have said, okay, well, listen, there's still time. They'll still be able to do it. But as the weeks go by and as the matchups get tougher and as this snowball effect continues, it's starting to creep more in my mind that there's a serious chance that Fiorentina goes on to Serie B, and it's not a headline that I would like to see.
I think that's well said. It's very shameful if that were to happen, where they just get bumped down, and especially for how long they've been SerieA, it's tough. And it's weird because you see Moise Kean play for the Italian national team, and it's a different player. It's that's just like it's a small little testament to like it is a bigger issue beyond the players on the pitch.
Yeah,
I don't know what it will take to fix it. I don't have the answer for this, and I don't even have an opinion of this because it's like, where do you begin? It's like where do you start? Like it's
you're right.
What is it? I don't know, and it's unfortunate because the players are feeling it too. They're feeling the frustration, and I think they're more frustrated than the players than the fans are, because it kind of hurts your ego a bit too, where it's like you're playing game in and game out and you're not getting any results, and you're like, guys, come on,
it's deflating.
It is, because you're like, come on, we don't suck this much. You know what I mean? Like you could have bad seasons, it's possible, but your team is capable of winning games. With the players that you have that are on the turf with you, they're capable of winning games. So it's at that point, that's where you start looking at it around, and you start looking around, and you're like, where do we begin? So that's my opinion of it. It's like I don't even know. Maybe it is a top down thing. Maybe you do have. Maybe Caniso does have to consider things. Maybe he himself, might have to like let go of the team a bit. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that even like after the passing of Joe Barone too, that kind of played around with things too there. But do you think kind of what I was echoing before about that blessing in disguise, if they do go down and they do retool and they do reshape and they come up stronger, is that something? Because listening to the fans, they're not happy, of course. Like they came out with that chant, right?
Yeah.
Si va in B, ti faccio il culo così, or whatever it was, and it was like it's one of these things where they're frustrated, right? And rightfully so. So do you guys think like maybe that that a la Genoa, a la Sassuolo going down to B will be a blessing in disguise, or will that just hurt them even more?
I mean, yeah, it could be a blessing in disguise, but maybe because they need time to figure out, okay, what do we need to fix and go from there. Because it didn't work for Sassuolo, but it didn't work for Genoa. You know what I mean? It's
true.
So I don't like I think they would definitely be back up immediately if they were to go down to Serie B, but it's gonna have its consequences, because there's definitely players that are gonna be on that roster that are not gonna be too content of going down to Serie B. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So, I think if you go down to Serie B, you lose a lot more than just extra money, or fan support. I feel like you lose a lot more, and there's a bigger picture at play. You know what I'm saying? So
it'd be an opportunity to as a rebirth, right?
Yeah.
Rebirth of the Phoenix.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
Tough to say.
Guys, so this is our last episode of the year. We're going to 2026. Everyone sets their New Year's resolutions, this and that. I think we did this last year, so I want to bring it back. I want to hear what if you were to set a New Year's resolution for each of your clubs, what would it be? So for me, starting with Juve, I think what I want to see from Juve in 2026, I'd say, besides finishing top 4, bring a trophy home. Obviously, Coppa Italia, I think, is the one to go. If not, if you can't bring a trophy home, win a Champions League round. That's the last time Juve advanced in the Champions League in a knockout stage in the Champions League was 2019 with Ronaldo against Atletico Madrid. So first of all, obviously they have to qualify. We talked about it recently. They're in control of their own destiny now, especially after the win against Paphos. qualify for the knockout stage, and then win the knockout stage, and then get to the round of 16. And if they could get to the round of 16 and win it, go out, make the quarterfinals. I don't expect Juve to win the Champions League or anything, or even challenge for the title, but bring some hope back that we haven't seen in a long time. It's going to be 7 years. But I think the title one is the one that for me is more important. Go out and win that Coppa Italia. I think they're, if I remember correctly, they're on the side of the bracket that it's pretty winnable for them. So if they put their efforts into it, they'll go out and they could win the Coppa Italia, and obviously top four. That's a big one too. So it's kind of like a three-headed monster right now. It's all about choosing priorities for Juve, but I think it's realistic goals to set for the team. Look, 7 years ago, if you would have told me that, goals top four, win Coppa Italia, and win a Champions League round, I've been like, are you stupid? But it's where Juve is at right now, and if all three things happen, I think I'll be very happy with the end of the season.
Johnny, I'll let you go with one of your teams because you're the only one here who has multiple, so. You could choose whatever one you want. I
would say Roma is probably going to be the same thing, aim for top four. I think for Roma, the goal for this year is you finally have a realistic opportunity of finishing top four in Serie A. I think the Roma's goal is getting into top four again and getting into that Champions League contention. I'm not saying you're going to do anything in Champions League, but just to finally get that monkey off your back, so to speak.
It's been since when? That's been since also 2019. No, when was the last time they were in Champions League? 2019, 2018, 2017,
2019. Yeah. Last decade, guys. Yeah. We're going to be halfway through the decade. Yeah. We're talking about things that happened last decade.
Exactly. So yeah, okay. So back into top four, back into Champions League is where you want to see Roma?
Yep, that's my my goal for Roma, to get back into top four.
Do you want to go with Napoli again first, or you want me to
go
with Milan?
I guess I'll just finish up with Napoli. Might as well, so we don't hear the same sound of my voice twice. For Napoli, I'm going bold. The Scudetto. I'm going bold. I want the Scudetto. You have Lukaku
wants
coming back.
The Scudetto.
Yeah, you have Lukaku coming back. Your team is not out of it. You're still in it. You have taken some losses that have been excruciating, but you have also, in that span, important wins too. So you're not out of it just yet. It's just you can't fuck up even more, is what I'm trying to say. So for me, my goal for Napoli, or what I would like for them to, what I want for them for my resolution is a nice fifth championship. That would be pretty cool.
First, it was like pulling teeth for Napoli to win them. Now the fans, they expect it every year. It's
I'm not expecting it. It's just because they have a realistic shot at it. That's the thing,
sure.
For
sure.
Even Jenny just saying a fifth, I'm like, wait, aren't they still on two?
No.
They were on two for the longest time,
It went from the three, and then they had to paint over the murals in Naples and put up the four. It's you gotta love that city, man. It's so unique. But
it's like with the Habs. In my head, they're always 24-time Stanley Cup champions. If I ever see them win a Stanley Cup, they're still going to be 24-time Stanley Cup champions.
Even if they'll finally get to 25, but
let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
Who said that?
But and it just bounce off to what you were saying, Johnny, especially with typical Conte not like doing pretty shit in Champions League. I think it's not super outlandish to kind of say Scudetto again. The only thing is it's very hard to repeat, but I think it's definitely doable. Like I said earlier, 3 points separate. Currently, 3 points separate. The top four teams. So it's really anybody's for the taking. For me to wrap it up for New Year's resolutions, I guess for Milan, I would say a bit more continuity, consistency, and picking up results against the quote unquote smaller teams in Serie A. That's been a bit of our kryptonite this season for Max Allegri and Milan. They've shown up against the big teams, their direct rivals, Unfortunately, there's a bit more smaller teams than there are those big teams in Serie A, and those are the results that have really been hurting Milan this season so far. So I would say to have a bit more continuity and be able to pick up maximum points against the teams that you should be picking up maximum points against. Because if we look at how the calendar's kind of gone, the results against Cremonese, Pisa, Parma, Sassuolo over the weekend, things like that. It's games where you look back on, and especially with Milan officially now one competition a week. There's no more Coppa Italia. There's no more Supercoppa. For us Milan fans, there's no more excuses. I think the Scudetto is in play, just like Johnny said for his Napoli. So I think that is a goal, and not dropping points against these smaller teams as easy as they have been, and picking up some more continuity in those games and stringing those results, because at the end of the day, those are going to be the results that when you look back at the season is going to bite you in the ass, and you're not going to be able to potentially raise that trophy and collect that second star on your kit for next season. So again, I know it's still early for a lot of these things that we're saying, guys, but that's kind of where I would say where all our heads are at for our teams. I can't say that, I wish Milan signs this player and that player and that player, because we're missing, so many pieces within the squad. But I think with what we have currently, of course, we want everybody healthy for all our teams. Our best players on the pitch to be able to do the most damage, in Serie A and wherever else in other competitions. So yeah, for Milan, like I said, some more continuity and consistency week in, week out, especially with one competition a week officially now, and picking up those important points against the quote unquote weaker teams in Serie A, because they're going to need them come the end of the stretch of this season.
And guys, I want to wrap it up with a bit of a fun segment. SpongeBob movie is coming out on Friday. So the
Really?
original one came out in 2004. So I didn't realize this is actually the fourth SpongeBob movie coming out.
I was in Sec 1 when that movie came out.
Yeah, I'm surprised it was 2004. It felt like, I guess you could say more recently. I thought it was like an 06, 07, 08 movie. So I was a bit surprised to learn that the original is from 04. Tying into Calcio, if you guys could bring back or resurrect one thing from your team from 2004, what would it be? As a Juve fan, I might have to sit this one out, because 2004, 2005 is when they got their Scudetto strip. But if I had to bring back one thing,
rightfully so,
it's a certain number 10. That's another debate. It's a certain number 10 that I would love to bring back from 2004. Although our current number 10 does a fine job. He's a good player. You guys know I criticize Yildiz a bit. He's not the true game changer. He's definitely not as close to
that 10 will never tie the shoes of the 10 that you're talking about.
No, exactly.
Respectfully.
Exactly. I mean, the closest we had was Dybala. And even then, like, he was better when he wore number 21 than when he wore number 10
sure.
with Juve. But if I could bring back one thing from Juve in 2004, it definitely has to be Alex Del Piero.
I think, like, for Milan, I would be like the whole team. Like the whole team is what when a lot of fans in and around our age group, and when they kind of got into the fandom of Calcio and of Milan, those kind of were the tail end years of some winning Calcio, some winning teams. Unfortunately, 05 Champions League didn't go as well. 03 went perfectly fine. But in and around those years, I think it would just, for a lot of us, it would just be the players, right? It would just be those legends of the game that we kind of fell in love with, and kind of brought us, some joys as well. Just the list goes on for the players that were there, the Maldinis of the world, and the Pirlos, the Kakas, the Didas, like, people in Zaghi, Shevchenko, Rui Costa, like these players, the list goes on and on. It's like, it's just crazy to think about. But I don't know, like Berlusconi spending the way he wanted and not have to just always look about balancing the books and be in the green. You know, he spent to win, and I think we kind of obviously we're in a different time in a different era of modern football, and that's understandable, and it is a business, as we always like to say, and it's a shame that we kind of lose that touch with how it was all those years ago. So but yeah, maybe a bit more of that reckless spending and kind of just spending to win and wanting to win, and the importance of winning, because I feel like a lot of these players nowadays, it's the weight of the shirt is that it doesn't do as much to them anymore, and it was more of an attachment to the jersey back then. And yeah, I would just kind of say all those general things for Milan's sake, of course, because you know the history is kind of where a lot of the glory days were. So would love to get back to that. Hopefully one day Milan does, but if I would have to pick certain things from that time, it would be those. Johnny, you? Serie B?
For
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I feel like for
for-
Napoli, maybe
What
not.
was
I
it?
mean,
Serie-
that's when they were resurrected, right?
Yeah,
Is
that
it
was the year of
is
the
it then?
resurrection. They lost in the playoffs that year for
Yeah.
promotion, but they did break the record for attendance and stuff. I was looking at I was thinking about, like, do I want to go for a player for that one or not? I was looking at the roster. Guess who was on Napoli that year? Ignazio Abate was on that roster.
Ooh, Milan
Let's
legend.
Steven Stamkos.
Yeah,
Milan
Steven
legend.
Stamkos lookalike. But honestly, for Napoli, I guess I don't know what I would want to take back from the
The hard
for
years.
4 or 5 City SG. But like, fuck, I'm looking at the coach. It was fucking Ventura. I'm like, no, thank you. I
Oh,
don't
man.
want to bring back Ventura either. So maybe Calayo, probably, or Pia, one of the strikers. That's about it, really. This was even right before they got Lavezzi, so I can't even go for him.
Yeah.
And then in terms of Roma, as much as a killer roster they had for 04-05, you know what I want them to bring back if they were able to bring that back? The Mazda logo jersey.
Yo, we're all about the kids.
Yeah, with the
was
dots,
their,
the white dots on the side and everything, and it's it was the red with the orange and black, like,
Yeah,
line type of.
skin tight too.
Yeah, hold on.
What was their motto? Vroom vroom. Was it that? Mazda.
I don't remember.
Vroom vroom.
No,
No,
I don't know. I mean, was it? I don't know.
In the commercials.
You're thinking of Zoom Zoom from yeah, was it Zoom Zoom? Hold on.
Maybe.
Was
Zoom
which
zoom.
car company?
Was it Zoom Zoom?
Zoom zoom, yeah.
It was
Okay.
Zoom Zoom, but
Yeah.
it was Mazda.
Mazda.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, hold on, let's see if I can present for a quick second.
No, don't play it. We're gonna get.
No. Hold on, share screen is easiest with 2 monitors. Yes, okay. Here we go. Share. Boom. Like, look at that.
Yeah, there we go.
This jersey.
I
like the half.
I
also
didn't know
like
you
the
guys
half
could
and
share
half
your own
one.
screens.
Sorry?
I didn't know you guys could share your own screens on this.
Yeah.
We learn something new every day. At the end of the year, we learn.
But yeah, like this jersey for, like, it's so nice. Like, it was one of my favorite jerseys. And I remember being a kid, one of my core memories is having it, because it was Diadora that was the sponsor for this jersey, the provider. It was near impossible to find these jerseys in Montreal.
Yeah.
It was near, because they barely shipped to North America. And I mean, for the younger viewers, right? Like, this was a time where you didn't have stuff like Amazon and whatnot being able to ship stuff. So, like, or like easy delivery. Even today, it's still not easy to get shit delivered to North America. So, yeah, this is basically what I would have enjoyed.
The kid.
That I would like the kid. I would like them to bring this back. This, like, you could even have like look, this was the third jersey was orange. Way one was white. Like, look how gorgeous that was.
God, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
those bring back memories just as a new, like a non-Roma fan. Even the black one was sick too.
Yeah, like
the black one was cool.
Why is the white one not loading? But the white one was also because it's essentially the same thing, but white. Actually, funny enough, there was the Totti, John Travolta photo.
Oh my God, the legendary one.
Yeah, I think he was wearing it, and
Yeah, where they're hugging each other. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, that was great. Great times. Honestly, I think the kids back then were just like they don't make the kids like they do back then anymore. I feel like just in general, like in Serie A or just in general in world football. I feel it's like it was like I don't know. It just had a different aura. I feel like with some of these jerseys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll see what kits we get in 2026. It seems like some brands are kind of going back, kind of like the Roman jerseys now. They have very old school feel, like 20 years ago. Um, that it feels like
I even
everything's a cycle.
I even feel
Uh,
like they brought back some of like their retro ones too. I think like I don't know. I'd seen some stuff like that. But anyways, it's
yeah,
just a better time with the kids back then. I feel.
yeah, yeah. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for us. Obviously, everyone listening, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Happy New Year. Hopefully, the New Year's resolution for Azzurri, we know. I didn't even have to ask. Qualify
Oh
for
no,
the World Cup. We know that.
that's a must.
2026 hopefully will be a big year for Canadian and Italian soccer. Plus, big year for whatever team you support. Guys, thank you so
But you
much
have
for
but you have to support Canada, bro. You have to support Canada.
oh
You
my
can't
god.
support Italy, bro. You're born in Canada. You're
Fuck
born in
off.
Canada.
To those people, fuck off.
All
going to
love, all
20.
love, all love, all love.
Here, this is
We had some crazy engagement on that post. It's all love. A lot of the people had their opinions and listen. I saw so many people other post about it. It's really to each their own, and it's all love at the end of the day. But
and
bro, you're born in Canada.
and let's go into 2026. No need to fight in comments about which team you want to support.
Let's hope, fingers crossed. But no, yeah, like Nick said, guys, and I know Johnny echoes the same thoughts. It's definitely Merry Christmas, Buon Natale a tutti. It's a time. Obviously, the holiday period is a great time to celebrate with your family, your loved ones, your friends, whoever it might be. Whatever you celebrate, enjoy, eat, drink. No meat on Christmas Eve, guys. Please get your bacala in and enjoy the 25th with the meat and all the pasta and all that stuff. But the sweets, I think I'm making lemon cookies on Monday, so with my nana and my mom. So
I'm
that
already
should be
started actually.
that should
She's
be.
making them in the kitchen right now.
Oh my God, Mickey's gotta send some over. But listen, guys, just enjoy. We thank you again for all the love and support in 2025. We want to bring that into 2026. It's a big year, not only for us potentially, just in general for football, for culture. Obviously the sport that we love. So we hope to have you continue on this journey with us into 2026. And like I said, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff, guys. And yeah, we'll be I don't know if we're are we wrapping it up, guys? Is that it? I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
Johnny,
ramping up.
I'll let you put your spiel in and then I'll close us off.
No, just want to say Buon Natale a tutti, joyeux fête, Joyeux Noël, Merry Christmas, everything like that, all the good stuff. Wishing you guys having wish everyone also has a happy and healthy New Year.
Yeah.
Health is number one. Before finances, then obviously have some financial success. Hoping for another scandal from Juve. That would be fun. We need drama.
That's my New Year's resolution. No, I'm joking.
Okay. And let's hope Italy qualifies for the World Cup. That's the
Yeah.
before we even start talking about group stage games, like fuck off. Like let's just get this, take it seriously, get in there, please.
March can't come soon enough.
Nope, cannot.
But yeah, guys, just to wrap it up again, a big thank you. Much love and support, like we always say. Definitely follow us on all socials throughout this holiday period. We'll be back probably sometime after the holidays, after the new year, into the new year in 2026. You'll probably catch some posts of ours throughout this time, but definitely follow, support at the Calcio Guys on all social media platforms. For the audio version of the podcast on all your favorite podcasting platforms, rate with 5 stars, leave a comment there. And for any video content of the podcast, subscribe on YouTube, put your post notifications on. Again, leave a comment, share, all that good stuff, guys. And yeah, we'll be back not next week, but in a couple weeks' time into the new year, 2026, with a bang here on the Calcio Guys to talk a lot more calcio.
Thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Bye.